Every year holds a story. The books we read, the places we go, those little moments that shape our days. And what if you could capture all of that, not in a journal or a photo album, but with stitches? Crochet has this beautiful way of marking time, of holding memories in its loops and colors. A temperature blanket that shifts with the seasons. A granny square for every book you read. A project that turns memories into something tangible, something warm and real. So today I'm sharing 7 different ways that you can chronicle your year with crochet. I've been looking for a new granny square blanket project and I've not been feeling super inspired. I've been scrolling through Pinterest and Ravelry and Instagram looking for inspiration and nothing jumped out at me. Nothing that made me want to grab my crochet hook and some squishy yarn. But the other night as I was snuggled in my bed reading before I went to sleep, this idea popped into my head to chronicle all of the books that I read in a year with a granny square blanket. And I knew in that moment that was exactly the project that I wanted to make. I'm an avid reader and listener of audiobooks, and the thought of combining those two loves of mine, crochet and reading, into one glorious project, that got me really excited. And the more I thought about this project, the more I wanted to make a floral granny square, and I had already made a floral granny square bookmark, and I've loved that project ever since. And I thought, if I make this in a heavier weight yarn with a bigger crochet hook, this could make the most beautiful granny squares, and so that's what I decided to do. I was going to start the project today, but I couldn't help myself, and I made 3 of the granny squares last night. I'm so excited about them. I haven't even told you what I'm doing yet. What I'm doing is I'm making a granny square for every single book that I read. And what I'm doing is I'm choosing 3 colors to represent that book. So I'm looking at the book cover and choosing the 3 dominant colors of the book cover to make into this beautiful little granny square. I love this idea for so many different reasons, and one of them is just chronicling all of the books that I read. I've always been the kind of person who loves to document my life. I've kept journals and calendars and photo albums and scrapbooks really since I was a kid. So this was just another fun and creative way to keep track of something that I really love. And for this project, I'm using Premier Basics worsted, and there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, it's a worsted weight yarn, and when I made the bookmark, I used, I think it was a sport weight yarn, and that's just going to be way too small. The squares would be tiny, and it would take me forever to actually make a blanket. So I decided to use the heavier weight yarn. The other reason is that I have quite a bit of this yarn in my stash that I purchased for amigurumi projects, but if I'm honest with myself, it's going to take me a lifetime to use up all of this yarn, and I just want to use up as much of this yarn as I can, and it's perfect for granny squares, and it comes in so many different colors because I want to match up every one of these squares to the book cover. I also like this project because it doesn't feel super overwhelming because I am only going to be making squares based on the books I read. Last year I read 32 books, and that averages to less than 3 squares per month, which I can totally do. I think I am going to have to do multiple years for one blanket though, because these squares, although they're bigger than my bookmark squares, they're still pretty small, and I think 32 squares is not going to be big enough. So I could do last year and this year, and I think that would be a really great combination. The most fun part really is going through my stash and looking at the book cover and picking the colors that I love and feel like represent the book really well, so that when I look at this blanket, it will trigger that memory and I'll think, oh yeah, I remember. I think the hardest part is going to be making the blanket look fairly cohesive while staying true to the book cover colors. But for example, I'll show you this one. This is based on one of the books that I just finished, and that is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I absolutely loved that book, and the cover has this beautiful green color, and then it has these little gold flakes, and it's got some white in there, and I thought this is going to really help me to look at this square and remember all that I learned from that book. Now, I haven't decided how I'm going to join the squares together yet. That's a future Elise problem. It's not today's Elise problem, so I'll eventually figure it out because I do want to make the blanket look cohesive. So I would love your ideas. If you could leave them down in the comment section. How do you think I could join these together to make the blanket look like one cohesive project, because it is going to look like a bit of a mishmash because the colors are going to be so different. So I want something that unifies everything together. If you're looking to expand your current crochet skills, or you're a beginner and you want to learn the basics, let me introduce you to Creative Crochet Corner. Creative Crochet Corner is an amazing resource for crocheters of all different skill levels. They have thousands of amazing classes to teach the basics of crochet, advanced crochet techniques, as well as lots of interesting projects to make for you or someone you love. What I love about Creative Crochet Corner is that the classes are taught by industry professionals like Mary Beth Temple and Brenda K.B. Anderson, just to name a few. While they have so many different videos for basic and advanced crochet skills, they also have tutorials for so many gorgeous crochet projects. And one of my favorites is the Autumn Glow Cowl. How gorgeous is this project? You will learn how to make crocheted cables, and I am all in. This is a recording of a live tutorial, so you'll be able to go back and look at all of the questions that were asked and answered during this presentation. And that's what makes Creative Crochet Corner unique. They have live classes so you can attend in real time and get your questions answered. And what's even better is that the first 1,000 people to use my link will get a full year of premium membership to Creative Crochet Corner for only $1.49. Thank you so much to Creative Crochet Corner for sponsoring today's video. So maybe you're not a reader though, and this idea really isn't getting you excited, and the good news is I have 6 other projects to share with you. One of the most popular ways to chronicle your year is with a classic temperature blanket. The basics is that you just assign a color for a temperature range and then use that color for your blanket each day. I found an amazing website called temperatureblanket.com, and I'll leave a link for it in the description box. But this is a website that will help you gather all of your data for your temperature blanket as well as plan the entire project. Another great feature is that they have so many lists of different popular yarns so that you can choose the exact colors that you want for your blanket project. The other thing I really liked about this website is that you could plan out the entire project. You don't have to just make stripes. You could make granny squares. You could make a corner to corner blanket. You could do chevron patterns. You can do so many different things, and they give you all of these different options based on the data from a previous year. Another thing I really like about this website is that you can go in and look at the project gallery, and that's where other users have put in their temperature blankets, and they're from all over the world, and it is so neat to look at how they planned their projects and used different colors for those temperature ranges. It really is inspiring. In the project gallery, I also saw that people were making temperature scarves, and I think that's a great alternative if you just don't want to commit to a huge blanket. And now I'm talking myself into doing a temperature blanket too, but I can't do any more projects, but this sounds like so much fun. But if a temperature blanket is too big of a project or it just feels so overwhelming, you could also make an amigurumi temperature snake. Planet June has a pattern and a planner to make your very own temperature snake, and I am telling you what, that is the cutest little amigurumi snake. Oh my goodness, I want to make this one too. What I love about this project is that you can make it in different sizes. You could make it in small or large in 3 different lengths. You can do daily, every other day, or even weekly. Maybe you love the idea of a temperature blanket, but you live in a part of the world where the temperature is pretty steady almost all of the year, and your blanket would look pretty boring because you'd be using the same color day after day after day. It would be pretty easy to adapt a temperature blanket project to a weather blanket. You could assign different colors to different weather conditions like sun, rain, snow, or even fog. I made this little chart, but you could do this in any different color. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be as literal as the one that I made, but I love the idea of documenting your year with the natural seasons and all of the changes that we have in weather. And where I live, I think there would be a lot more variation, and it would be really interesting to see those color changes on a daily basis. Perhaps the thought of doing a book blanket, a temperature, or a weather blanket is a real snooze for you. Well, I've got another idea. Maybe you're working on your mental health this year and you're looking for a creative way to stay inspired while also keeping track of how you're feeling. A mood blanket is a fantastic way to assign different colors to different emotions. And I think that this could be such a positive way to track how you're feeling, but at the same time, get those creative juices flowing, which is so good for our mental health. So it's a win-win. You're working on your mental health while focusing on your mental health with this creative project, and I love this idea. Lion Brand also has a mood blanket pattern and planner, and it's free on the website. So you can buy the full kit that comes with the pattern as well as all of the yarn to make a mood blanket. But if you just scroll down, you'll see the little button to download the pattern for free. A mood blanket is such a wonderful way to prioritize taking care of yourself. And by the end of the year, you will have something beautiful and creative to show for all of your hard work. I love this next project so much, and this is one that I'm calling the event-based granny square blanket. For this project, you would create a granny square for every key event or milestone throughout the year. For example, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, trips, any special memory can be made into a granny square. And when I was thinking about this project, I remembered that I have this book, The 3D Granny Squares. This has over 100 different 3D granny square motifs for so many different events in our lives. There are squares for holidays like Christmas and Easter and birthdays and Valentine's Day and even Thanksgiving. There are flowers, animals, and food squares. There are also beach-themed squares if you take tropical vacations or you live by the ocean. There are even squares for your pets like a cat, a dog, or even a bunny. But I think my favorite are the ones that celebrate the ordinary moments of our lives, like a coffee mug and even a sunflower. And the older I get, the more I appreciate the simple things, those little moments that when you take the time to notice them, make the day special. I'm practically talking myself into making this one as well. And I also think that this could make a fantastic baby's first year blanket or a special year that you want to commemorate in your life or someone you love. I've been keeping a gratitude journal since November of last year, and I really do think that it's helping me to get out of those cycles where all I can think about are the challenges and problems in life. It's helped me to focus on the good things that happen every single day. And there are some days, we've all had them, when the only thing that I can think to be thankful for is that the day is finally over. But you know what? That's something to be thankful for. But I think making a gratitude blanket, a scarf, or even a little gratitude snake would be such a great way to help shift your mind to be focusing on the good things in life. You could do this project several different ways, but I think using a template like a temperature blanket planner would be a great place to start. And with all of the craziness that is in the world these days, I think that it is especially important for us to take that time every day to remind ourselves that there is good in the world and in your own life. There are so many different ways that you could chronicle your year with crochet. The possibilities really are endless. You could get as creative as you like, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section if you have ever chronicled your year with crochet. Have you made a temperature blanket, a mood blanket, or even a book blanket? I would love to hear from you. But I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching.